these mini games are mind-numbingly simple. There's one where you just have to catch eggs, down like tubes.
Yeah, not only do you just need to catch eggs, but you need to feed the chickens for them to lay eggs.
Yeah, and it was just
Strategy, Dave.
No, there wasn't even a moment.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Yeah, hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I am quite well. Sorry, it's been 2 weeks since we last recorded.
Yeah, it feels like a really long time because the whole Easter break type scenario.
It does, actually. We just came back from our Easter holidays, or Easter weekend, that turned into Easter week.
Yeah.
I am still covered in chocolate.
Yeah, but yeah, that's not a change, ladies and gents. You know, he's a very messy eater anyway, so don't think that's anything new. No, yes, but especially with the kids, I can only imagine it was a whole chocolate frenzy
Right?
for the entire week, right?
Yeah, we already had this conversation, but I'm going to have it again.
Yeah, exactly.
With my two kids being the only two grandchildren in our family, they just get so spoiled.
Yeah, but it is one of the fun things. I know there's, even in my archive somewhere, there's a picture of me as a young boy just covered in chocolate with a carcass of a bunny rabbit in my hand. You know,
Yeah.
Memories are made on such days. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts. Lots of Kleenex and wet wipes, but lots of fun memories too, I'm sure.
And that is very true. I do think the memories are going to last longer than the tummy aches and the vomit stains.
Oh, jeez, is it that bad? Damn. Just reminding me why I don't have kids, thanks.
No problem.
Yeah,
I think I affirmed some listeners' choices as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Once they look at their like white rugs and like clean sofas, they're like, yes,
and their full bank accounts.
Yeah, there's a yes. I made the right choice. But anyway, where were we?
Right, memories made is actually a very good segue to go into this week's game.
Yes, this week's game. What was it?
This week's game we played 2000?
Yeah, I got it down 2000, yeah.
Yeah, the year 2000 gave us this gem of a PS1 title called Chicken Run, which is the spin-off of the movie released in the same year.
Which I was just realising now, because I went to watch that movie. And of course the movie is fundamentally British anyway.
It is?
The cast and settings. It's all set in, like, Derbyshire or something in England.
Wow, I didn't know Mel Gibson was an Englishman.
Ah, yes, he's a what's it? Honorary Scotsman, isn't he, from Braveheart? But no, he's not.
Oh, right.
He is. But yeah, I can't believe this game. Yet again, we always harp on about this. This game's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Which means this game came out when you were like 2 or something, right?
It came out when I was 7.
Oh, so this could have been in your wheelhouse back then, right? Like 7-year-old, you may have wanted to watch Chicken Run.
It could have.
It wasn't though, right?
It wasn't, no, because we couldn't afford a PS1.
Yeah, but you go to watch the movie though. Sorry, is what I meant.
Of course, yes. No, I've got a very nice memory of me watching this in a pool with all of my cousins.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, and with a projector screen, it was projected onto just the wall.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and in the pool,
cool.
We'd watch this entire movie. And it's such a great memory that I've linked to this movie. Whenever I think of Chicken Run, it just makes me happy.
I do love that contextually you just said because we couldn't afford a PlayStation, but you watched this movie in a pool projected on a wall.
It was.
It's like two foils. You have a pool and a projector, but no to the PlayStation 1.
Calm down. It was the public pool.
Ah,
yeah, there we go.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So,
I was watching Chicken Run, but I was drifting next to people's poo and chocolate wrappers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, public pools, gross. Okay. I'll give you that. Sorry, I was picturing butlers and pools and Ferrero Rocher and stuff like that, but no.
Yeah. No.
Okay, yes, Chicken Run. It was based on the 2000 movie, the claymation movie, the same people who gave you Wallace and Gromit. And
Wallace
all
and
that,
Gromit, that's right, and Shaun the Sheep. The
yes.
the claymation studio is called Aardman. Aardman.
Yeah.
Which is that Dutch? It sounds Dutch.
It's that. Well, it certainly does when you say it. I've not written that down, but yeah, it does sound Dutch, fundamentally.
Yeah. Which I don't actually know, but yes, Aardman made a studio that made this. You're right. Also made Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep, which is still running.
Yeah, and one of those fantastic things. Did you see who made the game? Did you see? It rang a bell. Developed by the company called Blitz Games.
Blitz Games. That sounds familiar.
Is that ringing a bell for you? Do you want to guess what other amazing game they also developed?
Blitz Games.
I say amazing in inverted commas, by the way.
Oh no.
It made me laugh.
Okay,
Are you ready?
Yes, lay it on.
Bad Boys Miami Takedown.
Wow.
The same studio that gave us the comedy duo and all its finery for the PlayStation 2.
Wow. What year? When did that release? That was 2004.
Yeah, that's right. That was a bit later when they knew what they were doing. I say.
Of course. Well, yeah. When they got some more experience.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like I say. This game fundamentally is based also on. Do you know the movie The Great Escape, 1963? I very much doubt you do. Do you ever heard of it?
No.
No. Steve McQueen. Yeah.
No. Is this a movie? Of course I don't.
That's true. The original movie was.
Is this based on the escape from the prison of Alcatraz?
I believe. Well, now your question. Not Alcatraz, but the prisoner of war camp.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Old classic Steve McQueen movie where it's a classic for the older generation, obviously. Where he he escapes imprisonment in a very cool way, and this is exactly. It's a parody of that movie, almost exactly, except for their chickens. And
really? So the movie Chicken Run is based on that movie?
Entirely. Even just the little hen houses all laid next to each other, the bunk beds caught up behind like a fence and steel, razor wire and stuff like that. It's a direct parody. It's actually quite an interesting...
Wow. Okay, so they were prisoners of war.
Yes.
And they were going to be made into pies by the Tweedies.
That's correct. That's the Chicken Run, ladies and gentlemen, not the Steve McQueen movie. But yes, correct. That's the whole premise of this one, I believe.
Goodness, I never knew that. I thought Chicken Run was an original movie, or
entirely original, right?
Yes, I didn't know it was inspired by some real films.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not implying that Chicken Run isn't a real film.
Yeah, that's true. This could be just like the memoirs of chickens that in real life. Except I swear chickens can fly. If you throw a chicken, it doesn't hit the floor and go splat.
No, I think it glides, or it just it can definitely slow its descent, right? But fly,
yes.
I don't know about fly.
Okay. Maybe I'm just having one of my fever dreams or something.
If we're going with the Legend of Zelda physics, if I grab onto a chicken's legs and I jump off a roof, I should be able to glide for at least 10 meters.
I love how we're measuring it to the Zelda physics engine. Perfect. Okay, it's good to know. I'm gonna have to grab a chicken one day.
Is that just something British people say?
No, please don't suggest that I'm like just sort of stereotypical Englishman and this is like a normal thing. No, I'm very peculiar. I'm unique, just like everyone else.
I'm kidding. Let's
jump into narrative, right?
Yes, let's do it.
So fundamentally, go on.
I'm a bit biased because I like Chicken Run. I'm doing the same thing here that I did with the Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Because I was wondering why your scores were so different to mine. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, my scores are a bit higher than Dave's, ladies and gents. I like the Chicken Run movie. I didn't know it was inspired by the Steve McQueen movie from what year?
1963.
Goodness.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, it was an old movie.
It's a long time ago now. What's that? 70 years ago now,
Yeah.
but
No, 60 years ago.
60 years ago. But then, when this movie came out, it wasn't even 40 years ago.
No, true. Very true.
Which time's weird if you think about it like that.
No, it is. It just makes me feel older and older as you talk. But it's one of those weird things. It's one of those, especially back in the day, and I guess more now. It's when they used to make animations and stuff for kids and adults, because you needed adults to be engaged as well. So they attached it to an old movie franchise that they would know, and then made it fun and comical for kids to play. So there was those funny moments too. It's like if you watch Johnny Bravo now, as an adult.
There are some euphemisms in there.
Yeah, right? And jokes about presidents and all sorts of things in there that are directly just aimed as adults, which makes them quite fun. Same with Dexter's Lab and stuff.
Yes, okay, so kids' movies from that era. I do think there are some kids' movies that are just for kids, and for the longest time, and even still, people do have the opinion that animation movies are just for kids. Which is not the case.
No, I agree. That's true. Some of them, like you said, the really baby ones. I can't think of one right now. But no, even SpongeBob SquarePants had Keanu Reeves in as some sort of omnipotent deity or something at some point. No,
really?
Have you not seen it? There's a SpongeBob
No.
SquarePants movie, like a tumbleweed, bounces across the road and stops in front of them, and then the literal actor's face, Keanu Reeves, then talks to SpongeBob.
What?
Yeah, gives him some insight and direction and stuff
man.
to do next. Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I like it when animators in these studios get creative and they think about their mature audience as well. I really do like that.
Yeah, exactly right. You need to hit both the demographics.
Even I think newer movies are starting to get this since the Spider-Verse movie. Mm-hmm. Right? New movies, animation movies are starting to get this as well. It's not just for kids. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but the new Puss in Boots movie, The Last Wish.
Oh yeah,
is really good and layered.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard
themes
good
and
things.
motifs, and it's not just for kids.
But even the first one for me. Now, granted, like we say, we're digressing a bit, but even Puss in Boots, the first movie was great. You know, I say that as a 30-year-old man. I enjoyed those movies or that movie.
Yeah,
because it's pure escapism, isn't it? It's joyful, it's fun, it's things that we need more in the world fundamentally.
True.
And sadly, this game didn't have much of that, in my opinion.
Oh no! No.
Okay, you're trying to not die. Okay, the was it the Tweedy? What are they called?
The Tweedies.
Tweedies. They are running a farm. For some reason, this farm seems to be more processing for food than eggs, but, you know, they want to kill the chickens or they're scared of dying. And they don't want to be put into pies, so their plan is a great escape or to somehow learn to fly. And that's pretty much all I got narratively. What did you see something else?
Narratively...
Yeah.
For the story, yes, that's all I got. But narratively, there were some other things that I got as well.
Go on. Like I said, go on.
Some of the characters that I saw were nice. I liked all the different chickens that they had.
Yeah.
What's Mel Gibson's chicken's name? Is that Mac? No.
That would have been Mac or somebody. I didn't actually write his name down.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not Mac. No. I didn't write his name down. Mac was one of the females.
It was?
Mac
okay.
Mac and Fowler.
I'm going to call him Mel Gibson.
Okay, that's fine.
So the Mel Gibson chicken is the one that supposedly can fly, although if you've watched the movie, you know he doesn't actually fly.
Very true. He doesn't.
Because he is still a chicken. There's him. There's the old general man that's all grumpy. You've got the smart chicken. I think the smart chicken's name's Mac, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. With
a very, very thick Scottish accent.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
You've got Babs, who's just the suburban mom who's oblivious to everything.
I like Babs is nice. I like Babs.
Yes, I like Babs because Babs is cozy. You could just go for some hot cocoa at
Yeah,
Babs'
exactly.
place.
She's enjoying life. Doesn't matter where she is.
Yeah. I mean, the military can be marching through the streets, and Babs.
Yeah,
Babs-
exactly.
And Babs will still water her flowers and think, "Oh, it's a nice day out."
Yeah, no, exactly. I'd live in that blissful ignorance more than I would others.
Blissful ignorance. That's perfect. That's Babs.
It is.
These characters I like. They're not. They're a bit shallow.
Yes, but they're chickens.
They're chickens.
I wasn't expecting in depth, to be honest with you.
No. I think the entire story and setting here is comfy, and it is a chicken farm that is a prisoner of war camp.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
comfy might not be the correct word. And I think also that's just because I watched. This is such an endearing memory. Everything surrounding the chicken run, I might just. I don't know. That might be clouding my vision with some nostalgia goggles.
Well, that's one of the things. I only ever watched the movie once, years and years and years ago, probably in 2000. So, my memory is 23 years old now, and the movie's great. This game didn't have any of that nostalgia hit for me. And I say this as a British guy, because this game is set in England. It is fundamentally English comedy and everything like that. This game, for me, just didn't hit the mark, sorry. It missed it entirely. I was like I said, I'll go on to it a bit later, but narratively, playing the game into a few hours in, and I was like, this isn't fun.
Did you not find it fun?
I did not find it fun. Now, fundamentally, there's an aspect I wrote down here. It is for kids. This game is aimed at kids. More than the movies are. This game was definitely aimed at children.
It is.
And that's part of the reason me as an adult probably didn't have fun.
Oh.
That said, you give me Crash Bandicoot or Spyro or the old Mario games, Mario is always great, but say Spyro, well, that's a cutesy kid game. That's still a great game. Even the old school version of Spyro was a great game.
Yeah.
And so I like kiddies games, is what I'm trying to.
Why is that? Is that gameplay?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's gameplay is a big thing in that, because the storylines are kind of meh. But having fun playing like a nice, cool, little, cute purple dragon, and like you said, gameplay and puzzle solving, and it is fun. That's the fun part of those types of games.
Yeah, it is.
And this didn't have any of that for me.
Well,
go on.
As we inch closer to gameplay, I'm sure we'll get a clearer understanding.
Yeah, true. Sorry, very true.
There's not much narrative in this game.
Yeah.
If you've watched the movie, you've got the gist of it. Let's move on to visuals.
Yeah, visually. So what did you think? The PlayStation 1 era, of course, isn't going to be HD rendered and all this other fun stuff, so...
But, I mean, isn't it... Okay, what I've got in my notes, the PS1 visuals have almost become retro.
Yeah, almost. I agree, yes, yeah.
The visuals for this game, as with other stylized PS1 games, are extremely endearing. It's very cozy.
Yes, no, I agree. It's one of the things I put down here. It even comes across with the claymation feel using the PlayStation 1 graphics engine. So there is something very nostalgic and comfortable. Like there's something weirdly comfortable about claymation animation in general.
True.
It's because it's so like artisanal and painstaking and stuff that always comes through when you watch the movies as well, for my opinion. And it's there again in the PlayStation 1. You see that it's like you said, it's cocoa in front of a warm fire. I don't know.
That is
feel to it.
And I don't know if that's because we've just got how do I say this? PS1 graphics and claymation drilled into our heads when we were 7, 8, 9, 10.
I agree. I imagine kids today would be like, "What's that? That's not CG. Where's the green screen and stuff?"
20 years from now, when kids look back at the entire art style of Fortnite, not Fortnite itself, but that art style, they're gonna get the same feeling we are getting now.
Yeah, it's very true. It's a weird thought, but yeah, it's one of those things where you always say, when you're a kid, your parents always say music is crap. Music was better in their day.
Yeah,
I say that right now to the music that's on the radio. And I'm only 30. The music on the radio now is horrible. 90s, 2000, that was good music.
It was, and even
And 80s.
further back than that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny. It's the same thing now. We like you said, we've been painted with the brush of claymation and the PlayStation 1 era, so there's something nostalgic about it. Whereas kids today, when they looked at it, they'd be like, "What's this? This can't be real."
No, this is shit.
Yeah, exactly. In a frank way, but yeah, exactly.
I don't get it, and it is most likely just nostalgia goggles. But for some reason, it does look bad, but I like it a lot.
It's for the PlayStation 1, they actually took some care for it. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
They actually put some effort in the graphics and the fidelity of them, because it has the exact same feel as the movie. This wasn't just a quick, well, parts of it were, but it wasn't visually. It wasn't just a quick cash grab, because they did put some hard work to it. It looks like the opening menu screen.
Yes,
that's just fun, right?
It is when you cycle around that room.
Yeah. It's ladies and gents. It's there's a few games that do it, but basically the opening menu screen is you're in a room, or
a hen house.
A hen house, is it? And you can actually rotate your view like 360, and each option is actually an object in the room. I'm sure there are other games. I can't think of it right now that does the same thing.
I think BioShock Infinite did it as well.
Yeah, and it's just charming. And to think this is a PlayStation 1 era, so this would have actually taken quite a lot of work to input that type of interface into it. But it is a lot of fun. You go left and right, you pick up things to save, and it's more interactive compared to just the normal text on a screen up and down type movement.
If you want to change the audio settings, the screen would move to the gramophone in the corner.
Yeah, perfect example. Yeah, exactly right. That's fun. I know it's a silly little thing to talk about.
But this is PS1.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a nice... It adds to the groundedness of the story and the scenario in its own right, because you're just chickens and you're just trying to you're not Metal Gear Solid saving the world. You're not a superhero doing this. You're just a chicken.
You touched the nerve there.
I know. Yeah, I was about to say
but it's you're very humanized chickens.
Yeah, very true.
But chickens nonetheless. And I think have you ever did you ever go into any other hen house that that had nothing to do with the story? In Act 2, you get to free roam most of the farm.
Yeah.
And then you get access to all the other hen houses, except for Block D.
Yeah, so I went into a few of them, yeah.
Some of them have no relation to the story at all. There's no objects, there's no story.
Yes.
They're just, there needs to be 4 hen houses.
There's stock placement.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I went into one, and it was just filled with things. You can't interact, you can't pick up anything. It's just set dressing, you're right, but it's just filled with things. And I think on the PS1, this is not something you can just do quickly in a day or whatever.
No, not to my knowledge, yeah.
Right? To fill the interior of a room that doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the game, that is painstaking, as you said earlier.
Yeah, that took genuine time.
That took effort and time. And
you can't do random item generators or AI fix this room to make it look warm. No, it literally took each item needed to place there, it needed to be shadowed and lighted and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that is care. That's care put into the game.
It is, yes, it is. There's no doubt. And again, like we've discussed it before, it's always, even with these other IPs that haven't done so well, there's still got people who love to be graphics designers and people who love to be audio engineers, and you can see their love in them, even if the game does flop. It makes you quite sad for them to think, they'd love to be working on Metal Gear Solids and Final Fantasies and stuff, but this was the gig they got, and so they did their best with what they had. It's one of those weird things to think.
Definitely. Is there anything else you've got?
No,
right. I've got one more thing for visuals.
Go for it.
They included movie scenes sprinkled in between the game.
That's true. Literally cut out from the movie, right?
Yes, 100%. Which, it's so odd. Claymation is just so odd. It's weird. It's timeless, right?
Yeah.
I can watch a claymation movie now that was made 30 years ago, and it looks so good.
And you got to respect the like the patience. I know we're off subject,
Yeah.
but the claymation, the patience to do those scenes, I've got no chance.
No, me
Not
neither.
not a
No.
chance. It takes them like a day to like move from the couch to like the door or something. It's amazing display of perseverance and stuff like that. And that I often think when I watch these movies and just think, whoa, that would have taken so long. And it's go on.
After I watched this movie, I tried to do some claymation with
Oh, yeah.
just stuff at home and my phone or my parents' phone. It took forever. I gave up halfway.
Yep, same. I think every kid, especially in that era, tried it.
Yes.
Because we all had some clay or Play-Doh or something, and we just thought, oh, that looks easy. But then you don't understand how many micro movements you've got to do with each movement. It's insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. And having scenes like this sprinkled throughout the entire game, it's just great. It's so good. It takes sitting back and watching a couple of seconds from this movie that you as a kid really liked, in between this game that you're playing.
Yeah, it hits the nostalgia feel.
It does, and it adds to the package.
Yes, entirely. Yes.
But that's it. That's what I've got for visuals, though.
Audio-wise, like I must admit, I'm being the bar humbug on this one. The only thing audio-wise I really enjoyed, and I'm sure you wrote it down as well.
Yep.
Is the voice acting.
Oh yeah, the first point.
Yeah, and it's the same actresses. Mac and Fowler, at the very least,
Yes.
are the exact same actresses from the movie. They actually did the lines and redid the lines for this game.
It sounded like them.
Yeah,
it sounded
it is.
like them.
It is.
I couldn't find anything online though, but I'm so glad to hear that it is.
It is. It is the same two ladies, I believe.
So great.
So that was cool, and the voice act, and that was a bit of a shock. I must admit, when you go into the first hen house to find out how to make some secateurs to cut the fence or something,
Yes.
and then noticing it was voice acted, I was like, whoa! I was expecting text bubbles and all sorts of things. I was actually a bit taken aback to hear on a PlayStation 1 game fully voice acted cast, so to speak.
It's not just some voice acting. This game is fully voice acted.
Yeah, it's mental. It is. That was a shock.
It's incredible. If you go into some other hen houses further in the game and you talk to secondary characters, they are voice acted as well.
Yeah, I was genuinely taken aback because even Final Fantasy VII, for example, no voice acting in that.
Okay, that's a bad example.
Yeah, that's a big game, true.
Huge. All those lines of dialogue.
I know, it's true. It'd be a colossal size game. Okay, anyway. Lots of games, like you said, if there is any voice dialogue, it's the one or two main characters, whilst all the other back characters are written text and chat. Whereas this, like you said, that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting it, especially with a movie IP. You know, movie games often are crap, as we all know.
That's true. But I don't know. I didn't get that from this game.
Yeah, that nostalgia is kicking in again. We're going.
It's too much. I can't. I gave into the nostalgia for this.
I can hear you just sat back and let it wash over you.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. What didn't help was the music.
Yeah, I agree. I was
when you hear that tune, right? When you hear that tune, the whistling. Editor, please put in just a tiny bit of the Chicken Run theme.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just tickle your nostalgia bones?
A little bit.
Huh?
Okay. Doesn't Mel Gibson want to make a catapult or a trebuchet or something and just chuck chickens over the fence?
No.
No, because I remember an advert just seeing a chicken flying very fast, forwards very fast or something.
Yes, that was Mel Gibson.
Was that Mel Gibson?
But
okay.
That was the start of the movie, and he was flying into the encampment.
Oh, okay. Okay, didn't know that. Like I said.
Yeah, you hear a cannon shot, and then you can see him flying.
Oh, okay.
From lights in the distance.
And that's what all the other chickons saw. And
exactly.
They were like, whoa, a flying chicken, right?
He's a flying chicken, and he's American.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Because he's a rooster.
So they actually got an Australian to play an American. It's genius.
It's marketing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, and they saw him flying. That was it. They later in the movie, he
Okay,
goes
yeah,
with it though. Later in the movie, it comes out he's not a flying chicken. Duh. He's just a circus act because he's being shot out of a cannon.
Yes, I think I remember that. Yeah.
But classic movie trope. He then comes around, and they all get inspired again to escape. And the big climax happens, and I can't even remember. Do they all escape? I think they all do escape.
It's got to be a happy movie.
The
idea they don't escape, and the last scene is just a big chicken pie.
I think all of them escape except for the main hen, which I can't remember her name. I think her name is Mac.
Yeah, okay.
The main hen with the beanie. She gets caught and puts into the chicken pie machine.
Oh, damn. That's
which
dark.
which I call chicken pie because that's how the Tweedies say it. They don't say chicken pie.
Yes.
They say chicken pie.
It's very true. They're from up Yorkshire way.
And then she not only needs to escape the encampment, she needs to escape the chicken pie machine.
Of course. So it's nail biting stuff just hearing you narrate the story.
Now I remember what happened.
Yeah.
Not only does she escape the chicken pie machine, but she throws Mrs. Tweedy in the chicken pie machine.
No way.
Yes.
Like full on murder.
Yes, I do think they murder Mrs. Tweedy and make her into a chicken or Mrs. Tweedy pie.
That was like the old school nursery rhyme type logic things to it, which I enjoy. But yeah, of course, get your own comeuppance.
This was exactly. This was also the year 2000. Before all these nice white parents turned into horrible goblins.
Yeah, exactly. Where all the movement and change happened. Yep. But okay, that makes sense. I can picture that. I can picture them killing off the farm lady because she's
actually
kind of
killing off.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's cool to know. That's not in this game much, though.
No, and it's also not part of the audio section.
No, exactly. See, now this is what would have made it a good game if there were parts of this aspect into it. And there wasn't. And audio-wise, there wasn't. There was good voice acting.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
And there was whistling, as we seem to have associated.
Hell yeah.
And, okay, there were bits here and there.
The final thing I want to say about audio, which is actually a great segue into gameplay, is in audio, when you're roaming around, there are dogs. Okay, these would be the guards. There would be a ton of dogs just walking around. Whenever you get close to one, or whenever one is close to seeing you, spotting you, you'd hear a heartbeat.
That's right, yeah.
You'd hear a heartbeat whenever you're close to danger, and that would signal GTFO, hide, or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is a nice audio feature. That's not music or voice acting. That's an audio feature that would impact gameplay.
I give you that. That's true. I guess, like I say, sometimes these things slip over when you're playing such games.
Yeah.
It adds intensity to the gameplay because, it's the heartbeat of the chicken you're playing at the time. It's the tension and the adrenaline she's feeling because she's getting close to being caught. And that does add another layer of immersion. I'll give you that. That wasn't too bad. It's true.
And it also excellently segue into our gameplay segment.
I'm about to say, because the very first part of this gameplay, as I'm sure you wrote down, is fundamentally Metal Gear Solid.
The first part, the entire...
I know, okay.
That's what I sort of got here. This game is just Metal Gear Solid with the Chicken Run Raptor.
That's right. That's what I pretty much wrote down. Because, ladies and gents, the dogs he was aforementioned earlier are little blips on the radar with little search cone. So it's exactly, and you're hiding behind walls and shadows and stuff to make sure they don't see you.
You can shimmy along so they don't see you.
Sadly, it doesn't do that noise that Metal Gear Solid is famous for, which I enjoy. But no, it's true. The whole you leave and you're playing Chicken Run and you've got a mission, and then you go outside and it's this like dark, somber, like whoa, we've gone into stealth mechanics straight away. Like, whoa.
Yeah, the game starts instantly.
Yeah, which it was a shock. Like I said, I've got very hit and miss here. It was a shock, and it also didn't work. I at times I was prone against a crate, and there was a dog right in front of me, and it didn't see me. It was there, it was sniffing around, and I was just prone against the crate, and it looked and then turned round.
Well, I mean, that's It's easy because, in fact, dogs are dumb.
It's true. They do have noses, though, is one of my fundamental points there. Like, how do I not smell like chicken? You know? And I'm slightly perturbed that there are chickens looking after... No, sorry, there are dogs looking after the chickens. That's a weird farmer.
It is. It is.
Trusts his dogs.
The Tweedies aren't so smart either.
Yeah, true.
But, I mean... That you need to blame the movie for. That came from the movie.
That's true. You got to blame English people for. We're not very good farmers, fundamentally. I say
Your
that
dogs are, apparently.
I'm allowed to say that because I'm English, so be careful.
Yes.
Like I said, no, it's just there's like I said, I am a grumpy old man and all these other things. You were throwing sprouts.
That's right. You were throwing sprouts to get the dogs off of your tail.
Do you know how expensive sprouts are? Come on. You might, you gotta, like, sprouts. I know, I'm an old man and I'm gonna rant now. They're so hard to grow and are so expensive. And why are they just laying around? Why are sprouts laying around a hen house?
Because it's a farm.
Yeah, but sprouts! It could be corn. It could be a nut. It could be food pellets. But it's a sprout.
It's a sprout. It is. It's also chickens.
True. Maybe I'm just going... I know, life is hard, and I'm finding things. Don't throw away sprouts, people. If you're out there and you've got sprouts, do not use them to distract your dog. There are other things. Yeah. But anyway, that confused me because I was finding sprouts and I thought, what are they for?
What?
I was like, why have we got sprouts?
Oh yeah, okay. Only later, after you pressed the throw button, did it throw a sprout.
Exactly. I was a bit confused. Now, granted, it was getting to grips with the control system. You always have that first, like, alien-esque, like, what's this button, that button type feel to the game beforehand. And then later on, I realised the sprouts were for decoys, which I didn't use because, damn, I had, like, maybe 10 quid worth of sprouts in my pocket. So I was right.
Whoa.
No,
that's a rich chicken.
No, exactly. But gameplay-wise, I liked the stealth mechanics.
Yes.
I didn't like the mini-games.
The mini-games. Did you not like them?
No, because it... Now, granted, again, I know I had to keep playing this game, and I got fed up, and then I thought, wait a minute, this game is for kids. I kept having... That was my mantra in my head. This game is for kids. This game is for kids. This game is for kids. Yet, the Metal Gear Solid side, kind of adult. But alright, hiding from dogs, like impending danger and death and all this other things, but alright.
Yeah, stay out of the light.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay out of the dogs' vision cones.
It was... But the games just... I thought, whoa, it's like we've jumped into like a WarioWare type game. And they were so mind-numbingly easy. Yet again, this is what I had to keep saying to myself, this is for kids.
This is for kids. Right.
I was like, oh, okay.
If a kid is getting frustrated with the stealth sections, they can just go play some mini games and then feel like they'd have played a game.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those. Fundamentally, it reminds me of that story you just told me the other day when you played with your son, Gigantosaurus.
That's right.
And you were so he was so excited. He was so excited to share the game with his son. His son's only 3 or so now.
That's right, 3 years old.
And he was like, yes, this is the moment where you get to share and have one of those bonding moments. And they're playing Gigantosaurus, it's one of his favourite cartoons. And you basically didn't get past the first part of the first level, right?
No, but why is that?
Because his son was absolutely obsessed with the animations of changing dinosaurs in and out. There's a very cute animation where the dinosaurs come in and out in a bubble, ladies and gents, and there's 4 different dinosaurs. And once he found this out, that was now the game. That was it.
That's all it was.
So Nick's sitting there like,
Oh.
I can't stop this because he's having such a good time. but I just get to sit here and watch him change dinosaurs in and out for a while. And Go on.
Not only that, but after 10-15 minutes of just switching dinosaurs, he gave me the controller and said, I've had enough, thanks.
It just makes me laugh because I could picture being excited by that, and then you realise, 3. still too young.
Yeah, not there yet.
Yeah, and this game, like I said, it reminded me. This game was with the same. I mean, 3 is a bit too young, and even for this game, I'm sure. But it did remind me of that moment you talked about, that these games, these mini games, are mind-numbingly simple. There was one where you just have to catch eggs, like down like tubes.
Yeah, not only do you just need to catch eggs, but you need to feed the chickens for them to lay eggs.
Yeah, and it was just...
Strategy, Dave.
No, there wasn't even a moment where 2 eggs looked like they were coming down at the same time. So you had to plan, okay, right and then left. There was like 3-second gaps between each egg, but it was just left, right.
Well, I mean, that's it. You're right. But for the kids who can't do the stealth sections yet,
yes,
these minigames are for them, right?
Yes.
So they can also play Chicken Run.
No, that's true, and that's what I say. My mantra: this is a kids' game. This is a kids' game. This is a kids' game.
Right. This is.
I had to keep going through my head because this is not an adult game. This is this is as boring as, I'm not sure if it's just me, as going for a haircut. And you're just sitting there staring at that mirror whilst the hairdresser goes, "Is this good? Is this good? Do you like..." You know when they show you like the picture of the back of your hair, and you're going to go, "No, that's not right, because you're the expert in hair, and that looks..." Everybody just says yes. And it's one of those games where I just felt like, yeah, I collected eggs. What now?
Oh, I have eggs.
I've got the eggs, and then I had to go collect things. I don't know. Maybe it's
wow.
me. I'll
this game did not resonate with you
No,
at all.
it really didn't. It really didn't. I must admit. I might be being cruel and stuff like that. But
I don't know. It's so weird that we can play the same game and just get so... Our opinions can just differ so vastly, right?
But it is one of those
really
interesting
like
things.
Yes,
but it is one of those interesting things, because I played as a kid Mario and Lion King. You know, the Nintendo,
right, the
Sega. Yeah, those games were hard.
Yes,
like genuinely. If you all go back now, if you just want to play Lion King, ladies and gents, just that game is like Mega Man, Metal Slug type hard. You know that game doesn't. It is a hard game, and I remember enjoying those games. And we've talked about that. It also has the whole arcade, feeding the arcade machine aspect to it too. That's why those games are hard. This game, again, didn't have... Except, I'm being mean, the stealth mechanics was kind of hard. I'll give you that.
Right.
I would prefer this game to be more stealth mechanics and mechanics on that than going into the little mini-game aspects to each segment. Because, I don't know, it felt like it was started off for like teens and then died off to toddlers or young kids, in my opinion.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. But I still like this game.
I did like you also got to collect pictures from the movie.
Yes, you can. There's things you can
collect.
That.
Yeah,
you can collect pictures.
Yeah,
as the story moves, you get scenes. As you explore, you pick up pieces of the map.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
so you've got a bigger picture of where you are. Come on.
Those were in-depth mechanics. That's like in-depth mechanics. Like, it's the same thing Elden Ring is doing. Selecting bits of maps. Chicken Run had that, right? Yeah.
Another thing that this game did that Elden Ring does, although Elden Ring does it purposefully, and I think this game did it just because of technical limitations, was after you've gotten your objective from what's it, Mac? No,
Mac or Fowler?
The smart one.
Yeah, the smart one. Yeah.
After you've gotten your objectives from that, in the second act, you get 3 plans for 3 different machines.
That's right.
A seesaw, a catapult, and a rocket.
Yeah.
You need to go fetch the parts for every one of those. Go put them in different hen houses, and you get access to almost the entire farm.
Yeah, it unlocks.
You could just go anywhere. You could pick up pieces of the map, whatever. What I liked, and I do think is a technical limitation, is you don't have any objective markers.
Yeah, that's very true.
They just open up everything and tell you, okay, we need this and this and this.
Yeah,
we'll see you when you have it.
Yeah, and they don't. And it took me maybe 15 minutes to find the scissors for cutting up the rusted.
Really?
I couldn't find. I was like, where is it?
Wow, 50.
I swear to you, I was pressing like the A button or whatever you want to call it to activate everything. I was looking in bushes. I swear to you, I was like, granted, maybe I enjoy the luxury of way markers now and pretty wind effects to tell me where I'm going. Because and when it opened up, it was just even longer. And you'd find one item, go, yay! And then you'd find another item for the other thing. And you're like, oh.
Oh.
Like I said, this, fundamentally, we're getting excited or not excited by fetch quests,
That's right.
which a lot of people say are the worst type of quests. But then, granted, 23 years ago, this is kind of what you had.
That's and what you had.
Another thing they do, which is on the adult vein of things, is that when you've grabbed something but are caught, you lose that something. You have to now go back again. You have to.
I was frustrated. Yes, I was frustrated that it happened, but I thought, okay, it does make sense.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard, like, grown-up aspect to things. Except for the weird thing is that they take it off you, then put it back in the same place again. Weird farmers again.
The Tweedies.
But yeah, that was a hard aspect to it, because you'd expect in a kiddies game that you'd picked it up, and okay, yes, you restart at the beginning. You'd have the item, so you could go back to the hen house. And stuff like that. But yeah, I found this, whereas you found it inherently charming, I found it inherently boring.
I think charming is the perfect word that I can assign to this game. I don't know why, it is.
No, because you've got a lovely memory associated with it. And there's lots of games there's lots of bad games that I play or I've played, and it's the memory of it, then the game itself is crap. I know there's loads of games I played in that vein. This is just one of them for you. Or you could be right and I'm wrong. That's the fun part about opinions, I suppose.
But the thing is, the cool thing about the internet is everyone's right and everyone's wrong.
That's right. I'm right, the loudest and strongest and biggest and.
Oh yeah.
That's the internet right there. But I enjoy an opinion. I enjoy a difference of opinion.
True. You are in the minority.
Yes, because I'm right. That's the problem.
Oh, I see. Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't. But I can understand you. Any more gameplay aspects? I found
none.
The boss fights are kind of inventive-esque.
That's true.
You had to dress up or make a fake Mrs. Tweedy, and then kind of like dodge things for a while.
There was a couple of things. You had to run. Right? You had to run toward the screen, Crash Bandicoot style.
That's right. Yeah, it was a different camera aspect and stuff.
You had to keep yourself balanced with the face buttons.
That's right. They were fun.
Yeah, and as you were being chased by the dogs, you also needed to open up chicken pens along the way that you could not see coming.
No, exactly. Very true.
That's a lot. That's a lot of multitasking.
But like you said, it's very Crash Bandicoot. Now you mentioned that, I can see exactly the same type of scenario in Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, you're right. And that was fun, and it was in depth again. And another problem with this game, ladies and gents, it is also very short.
Yeah, but that's
it's a PlayStation 1. It's a movie tie-in. You don't expect longevity in these types of games, and sadly, this is one of those games which even a solid playthrough probably takes you less than 3 hours.
I mean, that's the thing with not chunkier, but deeper PS1 games. I say deeper, it's not a deep game, but it's not just a simple platformer from A to B.
No, exactly right. No,
that could take a couple of days, but a game like this, it's got free roam, it's got items, a map, voice acting. Of course it's going to be short.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, I am fundamentally being mean. You're fundamentally being too nice. It will balance out in the end somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Did you get anything gameplay wise still, or should we jump into performance?
Let's go with performance, which should be a short one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, very common with PlayStation 1. I found the camera to be a bit annoying sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. That could be gameplay, but that would be performance.
Yeah, I found sometimes it would just clip behind a building, or I couldn't see the dogs coming towards me. But we're talking about a problem from 23 years ago, and it's only a problem because everything's so good now compared to then, so it's not really a big issue. It actually does quite well most of the time. I didn't have huge problems, but that's all I've written performance-wise. It runs fine. It's fine.
This top-down view, right? You need to look forward in front of you, but the view is top down. Was it the same in the first Metal Gear Solid?
Ooh. Yes. No, I lie. When you went prone to a wall and stuff,
Yes.
then it did the look down the hallway type view, the third person. That's true.
And
it did that.
and this game does exactly the same. If you go
That's-
prone against the corner, you can see forward, but if you leave the wall, it goes top down again.
That's true, except for when you go prone against the boundaries of the farm itself.
I see. Yes. Okay,
Because
that does
then
make
it
sense.
doesn't do that.
No.
That's one of the problems why I had the camera issue. So it is very...
I see.
It's very picky and very isolated areas.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I say that, yeah.
And it definitely took a huge inspiration from the first Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, 100%. It really does. It has very, very the same feels about
We
it.
can
which
say
shockingly
that
so.
we can say that because the first Metal Gear Solid was released 3 years before this game.
That's true. Very true. And of course, it was a resounding hit, so I can imagine
Yes.
they wanted those mechanics in their game too.
Besides that, the only thing I've gotten for performance is there are quite a few loading screens, but they're all quite short.
Yeah, I was shocked about how short they were too. Which I maybe I'm forgetting how PlayStation 1 games loaded and stuff. You know, I played lots of Final Fantasies and stuff, and those loading screens can be monumental sometimes. But the graphics that you're putting on the screen is a lot more. These ones were surprisingly short. Each time you went to a hen house, of course, there was a loading screen, but they were only a few seconds long.
Yeah, and just like Metal Gear Solid, everything was 3D rendered.
That's true, yes, 100%.
Yeah, but there were quite a few, and they were all very short, so it didn't...
Yeah, it didn't really cut it. Yeah, it didn't
No.
really mess with the flow.
And that's all I've got for performance.
Yeah, same here. What did you think for value for money wise?
Here's the thing. I think this is where you and I are going to differ.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think this is good value for money.
Go on, argue your side. Why? Why is it good value for money?
This game is just packed with things to do. It's just a good time from front to back. Front to back might not be a very long time, but there's so much here. You could okay. If you start this game, you get scenes from a movie. As you play, it's scenes from a movie. You can pick up pictures from the movie as well. You get free roam on the entire farm. If you watch this movie and you think, "Oh, I'd love to just see more of this farm, just walk around," you can do that in this game.
That sounds like a very small amount of people.
Yes, but it caters to this small amount.
I love the idea somebody was watching Chicken Run and go, "Wow, I'd love to walk around that farm."
What's behind that corner?
Yeah, look at that combine harvester. I'd love to see that engine. But yes, that's true. If you are that person, this game is for you.
And there are mini games.
There are.
They're for kids. They're easy, probably not always fun, but there are mini games. They're there. You can go into a henhouse and play a mini game. There are things to do in this game.
It's funny because you keep using the term henhouse, and in old English language, henhouse is another name for a brothel. So from my side, I'm enjoying you keep saying it. You keep saying that you can go to a henhouse and play some games. Just in my mind, I'm seeing all these fun scenes. It's quite fun. But yes, but you say that, and on my perspective, this game is short. Its entire premise is fetch quests, and the mini games are boring. But this is aimed at kids, and those things could be a lot of fun. Like for kids, collecting collecting the things, dodging the dogs, collecting eggs, and doing all the fun little mini games.
Yes.
I remember as a child, I played those games. I played Putt Goes to Space or something, and all the other fun little games where you just do these little puzzles and stuff like that. So I'm saying from a grown-up perspective, it's not there, but this game isn't for me. It seems to be for kids and you.
Kids and Nick.
And of course people who've got the nostalgia feels of the movie and stuff
there
like that.
There we go, that's where Nick is.
It's very true. It's not a bad game, it's just not a good game in my opinion. It's, it could be a lot worse. It could be Bad Boys Miami Takedown. and it isn't. It's better than that.
It is a bit better than that. And I
lot
think our
better than
scores
that.
reflect that.
Yeah.
You and I don't entirely agree about this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I can accept that.
Yeah, I can accept that too. I can accept that you're wrong. That's fine. I'm fine. But anyway.
This is anything else for value for money?
No. That's about it.
Right. This was Chicken Run, a very endearing game for the PS1 that I liked.
And I
did.
didn't. But no, it's good. And to be honest with you, compared to other movie tie-in games,
Yeah.
I can only say this game was good because other movie tie-in games kind of suck. Most of them. There are a few exceptions.
Yes.
So this actually did it quite well. The tie-in and the game, it did quite well.
I liked it. I put in my scores that reflect how I feel, and I'm very. It's just okay. How about we get to the rating?
Yeah, by all means.
Chicken Run, the movie, the game time for the movie released in the year 2000 for the PlayStation 1 by Aardman, and what did you say, Blitz
Games, I think it was.
Blitz
yeah.
Games. We got ourselves the same chicken pie machine that the Tweedies use. We threw our scores into this chicken pie machine, and it made not an apple pie, but the letter grade rating of D-.
That was great, by the way. But yes,
Thank you.
D-. Same score as Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai.
Which is a bad game.
It is. And that's it. It's the only other... Oh, no, and Dragon Blade, Wrath of Fire.
Which is another game that we disagreed on.
That's very true. We did disagree
right?
on that one too.
I like Dragon Blade Wrath of Fire.
I didn't much.
And I also like Chicken Run.
It's funny because he actually scored Chicken Run above Dragon Blade.
I did?
You did, yes.
Whoa.
You gave it a better score, which is quite funny. So yeah, it is what it is. It is a D- game. If for kids, that's easily a B, a C, B. I can imagine.
I would put it up there for kids. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From that era, kids now are not going to play this.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it's actually a bit of a sticky wicket, isn't it? Because
True.
Which generation of kids? Yeah, exactly. It is weird.
I'm just glad that we don't get Fs or As if we don't both fully agree.
That's true. Yes, that's
right.
True.
If we both can agree this game is a piece of doo-doo, like Bad Boys,
yeah,
it gets an F. Or if we both agree that this game is
great,
the best there is, like Chrono Trigger, we give it an A.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that the system we made,
it works.
It works. It just works. But yeah, that's Chicken Run. I'm very happy we played this game.
Yeah, me not so much, but yeah, it was an experience. It was an experience, and there's plenty more on that list to come.
Yeah,
so it's exciting.
It is. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind as to leave us a review, it definitely helps us in the rankings. You can follow us on our social media channels on Facebook or on Instagram. I think our Instagram's the better place to be for sure.
It's just fun. I say that because because I do it. So yeah, it's a great place.
You can catch me on email at nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Besides for your email, Dave, where can we follow you?
Well, you can try following me, but playing this game has made me realise that
here we go.
That people shouldn't waste sprouts. The abundance of sprout wastage on this game is insane. So if you come near me, I will have you tasked with finding 10 kgs of sprouts for each and every one of you, and you must bring them to me like some sort of tribute. Because I'm tired of the wastage of sprouts in multimedia.
That's expensive.
Oh yeah, it is expensive.
That is expensive.
And it's not around Christmas time. So they're like, whoa, uber expensive time. Okay, yeah, that's what will happen, ladies and
Goodness. Wow. Or rather, you could support us on Patreon for exclusive content. You can find bonus episodes each week and an entirely new show called Critical Cinema, where we do this exact structure of reviewing games, but for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. What movie are we watching this week, though?
What movie? We're watching the classic for me, I guess kind of classic for you, is Fight Club. The Brad Pitt, Edward Norton,
Helena Bonham Carter.
Thank you. I can always remember her name's Helen, and I can't remember the other two names. And Meatloaf. All sorts of people in there.
I can't
great
believe
movie.
Meatloaf is in this movie.
Yeah, that shocked you, right? When I told you
It did.
Meatloaf
It
was
did.
in this?
When you told me Meatloaf was in here, I was like, no, not no.
He's kind of a pinnacle character as well. I'll let you watch the movie.
I'm looking forward to have a chat about that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to listen along, go join our Patreon for that. Mm-hmm. But what episode can we expect next week on this show, Dave?
Well, next week, again, I don't know why the list seems to hate me so. You know, it doesn't want to give me the games I've played or give me games that I'd be interested in.
It's giving you this game now, but directly afterwards we're getting 2 Star Wars games. So we
I'll
can't...
give you that. I'll give you that. I just noticed that's true. Okay, ladies and gents, I'm sure you may or may not notice, I'm not a huge fan of scary games. I get too involved. I get too immersed. So the next indie game... Well, I like indie games. Why are indie games doing this to me? They were supposed to be my friends. We're playing Slender, The Arrival, which I do believe is Slender Man, right? The very weird...
Slender Man came out in 2011. That's the bad version that was made in a day. Slender The Arrival is the project if it actually had a lot of money.
So this is scarier, more atmospheric, more...
yes, 100%. Much
like
more scary, much
100%.
scarier, much more atmospheric.
Lovely. I'm thrilled.
I am going to be very curious if you're actually going to finish this game.
Oh, whoa, yeah. I can probably tell you now. No. I will play it. I will get into it. I will do some research into it. But depending on its level of, forgive me, but shit my pants mechanics, I probably won't. But we'll give it a go. Like I said, I've heard stories of Slender Man, the original one. So let alone the 100% more version of it. So yay. So yeah, that's next week's podcast.
It 100% has shit my pants mechanics.
Oh yay. Let's go to the pharmacy for those diapers again, shall we?
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.